Bismillah. All right, welcome back. Thank you for stopping by my channel, The Ghetto Muslim Chronicles. I am her 7. Ready to break it down for you once again. Our last video, we talked about what it meant to embrace Islam, become, a Muslim, and start to incorporate those things into work, school, community, family, etc. And we left off where, if this is something that you've done recently, having the conversation with your supervisor, with your family, with your community about some of the changes that may come. With having to offer prayers, having to go for Jumu'ah, fasting during the month of Ramadan, an adjustment or change in your dress, how you look, and of course, how you engage and how you participate in certain activities. All right. So this portion of the video, I would probably gear this towards the employer, the company, the supervisor, the manager. If you are a head of a branch or a department that includes Muslims, this might be helpful for you. All right. Okay, so let's get in really quickly because as a manager, as a supervisor, you deal with so many different levels and status and mindsets of your staff that it is, it's not a one string thing where you can just put everything for everybody. Okay, even when most of that staff may be the same faith or follow the same religion, it just doesn't happen. And so one thing that you really try to do as a supervisor or a manager is you try to make things, number one, safe, and you try to make them comforting and accommodating for your staff because you want them to have some ease when they come to work. All right. So if you do have a Muslim on your staff in your department, here's a couple things you might want to consider or even may have a conversation about. And they are as follow. The first one, I ain't even really supposed to say it, but I'm going to go ahead and let it be known. Respect. Hands down. Respect all across the board. And this is a mantra that I live by myself, that just because I'm your supervisor at work does not mean that I am your supervisor in your life. I am not the boss of you. You are an adult. I have to treat you as an adult. I have to respect you as an adult. And so I have to come, number one, with some respect. So if you have Muslims on your team, in your department, it is going to be very important that you respect the fact that they may be different, respect the fact that they may require certain accommodations, respect the fact that they are attempting to please their Lord. And so they ain't doing all this to take you through nothing. They ain't doing all this just to be difficult and different from everybody else. The intention is really to please our Lord. And as Muslims, we have certain obligations. Okay, so finding a way to respect those differences is going to be key. Yeah, you got it? All right, cool. So when there's Muslims in the department or on your team, one thing that they're going to need is a space for prayer. All right. And as I stated in the other video, there are 5 prayers. I'm trying to see. I don't think I've ever... there may have been some times, a couple jobs where I've had to work where I actually made all 5 prayers at work. Okay. And these are not like voluntary prayers. These are not, times that they're going and asking God to please make sure it's enough gas in their car to get it home. Although we're going to be asking for that too. But these are actual times carved out through the day that are obligatory for Muslims to make. Regardless, okay? Without making these prayers, you cannot consider yourself a Muslim. And at the very least, if you are kind of wishy-washy and not really stern on your prayers, okay, a weak Muslim, okay? So for those Muslims who are going to be coming to you, asking for space, asking for time, these are Muslims who are really striving to please their Lord, okay? And so accommodating that is going to be so helpful is going to be so huge, and it's going to take a load off. Okay, giving them that extra 5 minutes to to take to go and pray, and it's up to you if you decide that that's going to come off of a break time or if it's just going to be off GP. Okay, usually, from what I know or understand, it usually doesn't interrupt anything too much, and after the prayer is done, we invigorated, we rest to go, we rest to do it again. Let's go. Okay. So the other thing that you're going to want to pay attention to is days that they may not be available to work. Okay, Friday is our service day. Every Friday in the afternoon, this is a service time for Muslims around the world. So as Sunday being a service day for Christians, our day is on Friday. So if it's possible to accommodate a schedule for them, to take that day off or to take that time off even, would be really, really helpful. May Allah guide you and reward you for even considering the accommodations. I mean, but this is going to be something that they may want to rearrange and make time for, as it is an obligation for the men to pray in the masjid if they can. The women, on the other hand, can pray in the masjid, but should pray at home. Okay, this is ideal. All right, that don't mean that women don't go to the masjid. Okay, whatever, you got it right. Okay, good. Some other times that Muslims may require extra consideration is during the month of Ramadan. Okay, during the month of Ramadan, this is a time where Muslims around the world are fasting from sunup to sunset. No eat, no drink. And we really try our best to refocus on our Lord, our attempt to please Him. So if we are, people who use bad language, for instance, if we're somebody who maybe, engage in some of these light things that's not necessarily bad or a sin, but doesn't look good. These are things that we're going to kind of refrain from as well, in the hopes that Allah can give us the courage and the strength to get away from them. So my point is, we're really focused on that. Okay. And so during the month of Ramadan, your Muslim staff or employees, they may not eat, they may not drink, they may not participate in extracurricular activities, just in the light that they're focusing on, worshiping and pleasing Allah. Okay, so this is an accommodation. This is a consideration that may have to be given in order for this to be a smooth, easy transition. Okay, with the month of Ramadan, there is a holiday. Okay, Muslims have 2 holidays a year. One holiday actually lasts for 3 days. Okay. The holiday after the month of Ramadan is called Eid al-Fitr. Okay. The celebration of the feast, honey. It's been 30 days and baby, it's going down. Okay. It starts with prayer in the morning. And then there's usually family time. And then there's usually celebrating, much like people do throughout Christmas or Thanksgiving, in this one day. Okay. And that's Eid al-Fitr. That's after the 30 days of fasting in the month of Ramadan. Now, because Islam and Muslims follow the lunar calendar, this is not going to be the same time every month or every year, okay? It's going to float, so it's going to rotate, okay? Given an understanding that the month of Ramadan may come in, let's say June 1st and last through the end of June, well, the next month of Ramadan is actually going to be a little bit earlier, start a little bit earlier, and finish a little bit earlier. So it moves, okay? Understanding this is going to help because it's just not going to be at the same time every year. Okay. You may have a Muslim on your team. You may have Muslims in your department that are new to Islam. You may not know all of the ins and outs just yet, who may not be practicing or participating in all the ins and outs just yet. So there may be some, adjustments. Some things may start out one way and end up some other kind of way. So that one staff member, that one employee, my bad, that one employee who may used to come in for you early may not be able to do it now because they have Salah in the morning, or maybe they used to stay later, but now they have to get home and or get to the masjid. So there may be some things that change over time, and just because they did it or didn't do it in the beginning doesn't mean that that's how it's going to end up. So have a little patience. Especially with those of us who are learning. We're learning and we're applying it and we're taking our time and we're taking our steps. And sometimes that just needs, some consideration. I don't need you to shut down the whole facility for me, but just, be considerate and understand that I might need to step away just for a few minutes. Or I might used to bust it up with, so-and-so, Mr. Whoever. But now as a Muslim, I understand that as things go, that's not something that I might participate in. So I'm not being funny, I'm not being snooty or distant. I'm just learning my place as a Muslim, and that might have some adjustments. Okay. So those things may change, those things may grow as this person in your department or on your team learn about their deen and things that they should and should not be doing. Okay. Now, some things you might see and you don't get. As a supervisor, as a manager, again, you just a supervisor at work. We are not the bosses of these people outside in their life. And so there may be some things that you don't quite understand. And it's always good to ask questions. It's always good to get a better understanding, okay? Especially when it comes to a person. Here's what we do. We sit around, did you see so-and-so acting like, girl, I saw that. Did you see so-and-so? I'm not sure did, but I don't know. It must be some kind of way. She moves and that, so it must be some kind of situation. Ain't getting us nowhere. You actually just sitting around the table gossiping about something that you have no idea. This is what we do. I'm talking to myself as well. What we could do, just a suggestion. Hey, I noticed that at around this time, you kind of disappear and go off. Is everything okay? Or I noticed that you've started to read this book, this Quran, that's not in English. Are you listening to music? Or, hey, I noticed that you're starting to wear this, what is it called? All right. You get what I'm giving? Okay. Asking questions open up conversation. Asking questions give you and this person a chance to gain some understanding. Oh, they don't know, so this is my opportunity to share. Or, oh, I thought it was this and it's actually that. Oh, wow. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So it's good to ask questions. It's good to get an understanding. And you want to get it straight from the person. Okay. The other person sitting next to them ain't going to have a good clue, ain't going to be a good source, and shouldn't be the one you ask, okay? Ask the one that you need to know about and get the answer and information from them. And again, as a supervisor, as a manager, we come across a lot of different, things that we have to consider about each of our staff and employees. But that does not mean that we cannot have a unique understanding of each of them, especially when it pertains to their faith. Okay, now this is somebody who just like to get tattoos and piercings or do this or do that. Do you? Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this person who has set their focus, their intention on pleasing their Lord. All right, so that means elements about this dunya, elements about this world don't faze them. Don't faze them. You understand what I'm saying? And so offering extra money or offering extra this or that might not get the job done because their focus is on pleasing Allah. Again, I digress. I'm so good at that. So you might want to take some time and just get some basic understanding about Islam for yourself. I always encourage you to read. You can pick up the Quran. You can go to many, many websites. You can visit a masjid. You can drop by this channel every now and then. You can put your questions in the comments. You can start to, get a little bit of an understanding so that you can accommodate, so that you can make the worst workplace or school or the community center or just the family a little bit more comfortable for this person to practice the beautiful thing of Islam. Have you ever heard of Islam? Oh my God, it's this beautiful thing that really encapsulates the true peace, the true love, the true justice of our Lord and Creator Allah. Okay, the one, the only. And He has given us this beautiful way of living in this beautiful world that He created for you and me. And it is called Islam. And as we practice it, we are called Muslims. You should look into it. You should read about it. You should learn about it. You should embrace it and become Muslim. That's my invitation. All right? But even if you read it and you decide, nope. Even if you read it and you decide, not for me. Even if you read it and decide, whatever. Understanding that somebody else felt at home with it. Understanding that somebody else is embracing it. Understanding that somebody else is living by those things. Can't you just find a way to accommodate and consider? Okay? So, just a quick recap. If you are a supervisor, if you are a manager, if you're a mama, if you're a big brother, if you're somebody in the community, at work, at school, who is now starting to notice or acknowledge that somebody has become Muslim, these are some things that you can do to help have an easy transition for you and them. I pray that Allah make this easy for us. I pray that Allah guide you and me with beneficial knowledge. I pray that Allah keep us as Muslims and never test us with anything that takes us off the square of the deen of Islam. I pray that Allah grant the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, peace, blessings, him, his family, his followers, and all of us who are listening and watching. I got to go because my battery's running out. Peace.